Okay, team, welcome to Wrap Jumping. We've got a 20-ton anchor system. Connected is 11mm blue water static rope with a breaking strain of 3 tons. How heavy are you, Sarah?
I am 70 kilos.
You're 70 kilos? Well, it's got a safe working load of 65 kilos. How's that work for you? Could I get everybody in this position with your palms facing that way, please? Who would like me to check their harness before they go? I think we'll lock that in.
Yeah.
And we'll check the gloves too. Sir, over here, my old mate.
Me? No, I'm not going first.
I'm not going.
Hell no. Hell no. I can't. I need to watch one person do it.
Okay, this is what it's all about, bro. Stand up on the edge and go, I'm alive, and enjoying it.
Oh boy.
Oh man. No. 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 That is not happening.
A long time ago, I considered living in Melbourne. There's a general feeling of happiness, a balance of work and leisure. Time moves at a comfortable pace.
For me, I've always wanted to go to Australia. The huge island continent is so far from us that it doesn't normally come up in our discussions of places to go.
I've always had creative tendencies and tend to be drawn towards cosmopolitan cities. I felt I found that in Melbourne when I first visited 10 years ago.
Mohammed has said nothing but great things since his visit. Australians themselves argue it's the greatest country in the world. I suppose they'd say that.
And it might be true. People are courteous with each other, outdoor activities are cherished, creativity is coveted, and the cuisine is as healthy and international as its people.
I'm looking forward to our time here and having an ultra-local experience to see if I can agree with the Australians and Mohammed.
You guys are urban bee farmers.
We're in the heart of Melbourne CBD, Federation Square, the rooftop.
And this is one of your hives.
This is 10 of our hives. We call this our little bee village, right in the heart of the city. So all the people down below have no idea that there's 500,000 bees up here flying above their head.
This didn't just happen. You guys put it here.
Yes, that's right.
How did you
That's
get
right.
it here?
Okay, so we actually go out and we collect swarms of bees in the springtime, usually.
How do you collect bees?
Well, we collect them during spring and summer, and it's what we call a swarm. That's when bees naturally want to divide.
Divide, what is that?
Yeah, the colonies will get so big and strong, they'll raise themselves another queen, and then that old queen can then leave and start a second colony and divide into 2. And as long as we get the queen at the center of that swarm, all the other workers with her will follow.
You guys spend a lot of time with these bees. What sort of relationship do you have with them?
They normally get named according to their scenario, as into how we've actually got them or where they've come from. Like we've got some bees like the compost queen.
Yeah.
We've got one set that we call the Swedish bees.
Mm-hmm. They're
very blonde.
they're very light in colour and very blonde.
And they're very lovely.
And you
they're
mentioned
one of our
that those over there, they're
They're aggressive over there.
They're good old-fashioned local bees.
They're the jocks.
Yeah. Yep.
We've smoked the bees.
So we've smoked the bees, which gives them a bit of distraction. So we can get in there and have a little bit of a look around. So what we've got here, under here are young larvae baby bees waiting to come out.
The ones that are closed.
Yeah, the cells that are all closed here. We call that the brood.
Yeah.
Underneath here is capped and stored honey. So see, I can just...
Do bees get a bad rep for being aggressive?
They do. Here in Australia, and I think in the States as well, we have wasps The Americans know them as yellow jackets. We have them as wasps. They look reasonably similar, and they're really aggressive, and they do give bees a bad name. Bees generally aren't interested in humans. We've got nothing for them.
You've labeled this honey based on the streets that it's harvested on.
We have Burke Street, Federation Square, Northcote. We've got a whole palette of different flavours, and they all smell different and all very different colours. And the reason you have all these different flavours and colours is the location that the bees are collecting their pollen and nectar from. And we keep it all individual, which gives us a little bit of a gourmet edge and gives you all this variety of honey.
Are you going to run us through some of the flavours?
Definitely, let's get into it. We'll start with everyone's favourite of the minute is Federation Square.
How far was this harvested from here?
This is about 150 metres away.
Oops.
So the honey's cold extracted and not pasteurised or heat treated. So you get all of the flavonoids are all intact there, and you get those really interesting flavours. And we'll get you to try this here, this is only we'll say 3 streets away. This is Burke Street.
Fragrance
We
as well,
suspect
right?
that the bees here have been flying down to Docklands, and there's some tea tree down there that they've been on.
That is amazing.
And so this
even the texture is
The viscosity is very
so this will
different
taste
as well.
very similar to a New Zealand manuka.
You know, more importantly, it tastes like honey, and you know, like butter doesn't taste like butter anymore. Honey doesn't taste like honey anymore.
Yeah.
This is the real thing.
There's also, we have a little bit of a belief that bees have been around for millennia, and they're so evolved and so highly tuned to the environment that they mix up these different pollens and different nectars in different ways for their own health reasons. Why would we move them around for what we want and how we want to influence the flavour? Let nature do its thing. They know better than us.
The scariest part is the edge.
Yeah.
Once you're over, mate, you can play the bagpipes on the way down. You can eat an orange. Too easy. So right hand, left hand, up we go. We're going to sit on the edge. His left leg over the edge. Right leg over the edge. And whoa!
I'm not doing this. Dude, I cannot do this. I can't.
The only handicap you're ever going to have in life is not having one. And fear ain't a handicap.
Where I've been so some of my friends wanted to know why I've been so unresponsive.
Guys, welcome to Australia, welcome to the Collingwood Football Club. Talking about the game of Aussie Rules football. Whole idea is using your hands and your feet. You have to move the ball from one end of the ground, which you've got goals down that end, basically all the way down to the other end of the ground. Kick it through the 2 big ones, you get 6 points, it's a goal. If you miss on either side, and you do get 1 point for that. It's a continuous game, it's always going. You have to kick, you have to handball. If you run for 15 metres, you have to bounce the ball.
Cool,
you can
cool,
get tackled as well, so we'll try some handballing drills. We'll do some kicking drills with you. We might even get Big Jack to tackle you as well.
Mohammed can get tackled.
I'll take one for the team.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to seeing that.
So this is an Australian game. So what do the Kiwis do, and do they ask to play as well?
Purely Australian game, and we don't let them in. No, they play that other one. What is it, the rugby game? Yeah, no, this is a much better game. Much better game. Okay, so real easy. If you're right-handed, make a fist with your right hand. Okay, the other one, the ball sits on top of your hand. Okay, so it's like on a plate, and all you're doing is taking that fist, and you've got to hit the ball around the cross at the back here,
Okay.
off your hand. Okay, watch this. Simple.
Gotcha.
Step forward with your other hand, with your other leg.
Playing with a professional footy player.
All right, kicking. Harder, but more fun. Whole idea, you got the laces on the ball. See the laces?
Yeah.
Okay, wherever you want the ball to go, point the laces in that direction. Then drop the ball down, and you're trying to get the ball to land on your laces of your shoe.
Okay.
Okay, bring your leg through, kick the ball. So I'll go back a little bit. So laces towards you, Hand spread, step, kick the ball down.
And you have to do that like while you're running and while you grab something. You're gonna have to. Okay.
We'll just go slow.
So
Away
let
we
me
go.
try.
Pretty good.
Oh, P.
Not bad. Pretty good.
Beautiful. It's better than mine.
Spin the other way.
I'm used to those round balls.
Okay, so I've seen the skills of Australian rules football, the kicking and the handballing. Now some of the tough stuff is when you get tackled. So when they tackle you, it's like wrapping you up, okay, like a big bear hug, but they're not allowed to get you over the shoulders, so your head's all right, and they're not allowed to get you below the knees. So, Mohammed, I think you're going to have a go.
Yeah.
We'll get Jack, one of our smaller blokes, to try and tackle you. All right, so Mohammed will go back a little bit. Ready?
All right, here we go.
I don't know if everything happens for a reason or if cause issues have effects. All I know is I don't know what's coming up next. If I look like I got it all together.
Look, when do I come and try out for the team?
I think you just did. Can you play this weekend?
David, you do so many things, I don't know where to start. But I think my first question is, what's a placemaking consultant?
Placemaking consultant. It's where we look at a place and we're really asking the question, what makes a great place and who are all the stakeholders that make that happen? So basically, it's really about bringing the spirit of the place alive. And through that, I also found that I was attracted to places a bit like this that have an eccentricity about them.
It's not slick, but you're attracted to it. I was
Yeah.
walking down the street and I took a peek and I was like, I want to go inside.
That's right.
But how does what you do channel into placemaking? Because you do a few things.
Yes, yeah. Well, I do silent disco walking tours, and so they're a tour of place. But what we're doing is we're dancing as we tour the place. So we might go up to a statue and do an interpretive
And by
dance.
place you mean?
Well, the streets of Melbourne.
So David, silent disco, I can imagine myself from what we've talked about before, me wearing some headphones and jamming a little bit. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So everyone's wearing headphones, and I'm DJing live, and I have a speaker. So that's where it's new, and we're mobile. You're in your own world, but there's actually a sense of community because the other people are in the same world. And then people in the street who see us, they just see this energy walking down the street, and it's undeniable, and they can't not smile when they see us. And the fact that we're actually just dancing in the street is a radical act. I mean, sadly, it's actually a radical act. And yet, once you've got the headphones on, it's like when you put a wig on at a dress-up party, you just become another character.
So is this your way of getting people to reconnect with the city?
Yeah, I would say so. And it's about reconnecting with themselves, first of all, in the body, because the body is very important to me, because I feel like part of our disconnect starts from our disconnect from the body, because we're so cerebral. And then, of course, seeing the city in a different way.
So this is I feel like it's placemaking as well, right?
Yeah.
Because you're creating this other world within these headphones.
Absolutely. Well, place activation is the buzzword that they use. So we're activating the place because the place is there, and so we go in and play with it. So, and I love the idea of bouncing off the things that happen spontaneously in the street.
I've been growing up so fast, and I don't think that I've kept up. I don't think that I have what it takes to do what I'm expected of.
Good. Good type of music, dude. Legit type of music.
I might point out a stranger in the street, and we're gonna become them. We're gonna feel into them. So let's look at this guy right here. Looking up, walking towards him. This is what it feels like to be in the city. He's pretending he hasn't noticed us. But...
I don't think that I have what it takes to do what I'm expected of. But don't get it mistaken, all I need is time, because I'll make it on my own. Yeah, my parents told me that that it's time to grow up, time to mature and make something out of myself. And I wish that I could, but I feel as if it's way too early to let go of all the things
And you want to be a host or something? What's your part here? He's going to do something on TV. You know, there's these guys that, Bear Grylls and all this type of stuff. You've got to do it. And not only that, it's looking bad. I'm not even happy with this footage now. You haven't been fair at all. In other words, you shouldn't even had a harness on. And I'll be pissed off if any of this footage is used. Unbelievable. Wake up!
So, Doyle, we're at the Blender studio, and a bunch of stuff happens here. There's a gallery up front. You're involved with like quite a few activities. What goes on here, man?
It's pretty hard to explain. It's kind of like a large socialist artistic empire of dirt, really. All the artists here, they're required to leave all their studios open so everyone becomes kind of part of the community. And we have young artists and mid-career artists, and we all support each other. It works really well.
So how did you get into like street art or graffiti art?
Well, I was one of them punks that used to like write on the local milk bar, but then when I got to like year 11 or whatever, I stopped and started focusing on fine art.
Why did you make that transition from like graffiti art to fine art?
Heaps of my friends that I graphed with, they started to get a bit rough. And like they started beating people up and getting into like pretty hardcore crime.
Because that's what, I think most people associate graffiti art with gangs and violence and so forth.
Well, that's very suburban in a way. Like the street art movement in Melbourne is very focused on the inner city, and it's very closely linked with the fine art movement. And then there's the kids that want to do it because in a way like they're white middle class kids with no voice. And for me, that's where street art really has its strength. It needs to be political, it needs to have a voice. That's in a way what this place does. It's a safe community, and it provides kind of like this safety net for people that perhaps wouldn't fit in other places.
Do you feel like there's people here today that you house within the studio that had that tendency to possibly go that direction, and you've sort of brought them back?
You can't save everyone. That's one of the things I've learned, but you can certainly try. Like I've got one of the young people here. I started out, he was 15 and I was his youth worker. Now he's like a lot older. He's like 23 or whatever, and he's become a youth worker and he's finished his degree and he's moved in here. And that's a great success story.
So we walked in and we saw this just a row full of art on the walls just outside, a laneway.
Yeah, the Blender lane.
The Blender lane.
And it's like this legal laneway. It's kind of curated. It's got all the best stuff from all over the world. All of this wall here, this is a wall that sort of started in 2000 to 2004, and it was a practice wall for all the artists in the studios to put their stencils up. Then we've got artists like this artist here, Love Hate Love from Indonesia. We've got Ficaris. We've got this artist Watchavato from Mexico. Up here we've got Baby Gorilla. She's done the paste ups. Then we've got Vexter over here. We've got Urban Cake Lady. This artist here, this stencil, this is an artist from Iran. He came over, he had a really awesome beard.
But this is like a photo album of like amazing artists from across the world.
Yeah, that's right. And it's big business, this street art now, like, for the high end. Some of these pieces, down here are worth a large sum of money, and the people that have come to this laneway have travelled from all over the world.
So it seems to me like Melbourne or the authorities over here are pretty open to developing the arts. What else are you hoping to achieve in terms of dialogue with them?
Now, it's interesting because Melbourne, in a way, is like for the first time ever culturally #1 at something. And the government hasn't funded it and can't really fund it because it's an illegal act. But they've got some big ideas to legalise laneways, to set up studios for at-risk young people, to really promote, because, street art's a great way to engage with kids.
We've done our gloves. I want you to look at them two buildings over there. You're going to love this. Okay, right hand, elbow out like so. That's all you got to do. We control it. If it gets too scary, all you do is close your eyes. I'll get you off. Okay, Rob. Okay, left leg up, right leg up. Look here, run it off here, you. That's it. Okay, open your hands up, run down the wall. Beautiful.
Not as bad as you think. I can't.
Yes, you can.
Coach, I can't do anything like this. No way! I cannot do this. Coach, I can't do this.
Why not?
Dude.
Oh man, the only little bit of a difficult part is when you're sitting over there. Close your eyes from there and you're in the chair. You just release a little bit, hold a little bit. Release, it'll take you down. Slow. You can take minutes to do it.
And all you are doing now is standing on a beach with your toe in the water. Right? Jump into the water. That's what we're doing, guys. We're challenging our fears. Some a little bit more than others, obviously.
Come on, you gonna do it? You can do it, dude.
Nobody's ever done the walk of shame. In other words, everybody's done it. We're at level of option 1. We go to option 5. Option 5 is another rope over there where I will drag him over. If I said to you we're going to jump off that building onto a trampoline, like these kids on skateboards and what they're up to, dangerous stuff. This is safe as houses. So the only excuse is reverting back to you. So let's get this over and done with and get you over the top. Well done. Welcome to rap jumping. Okay, bro. Right hand's on the rope, looking at the buildings. I've got you, see that? Okay, up we go, I'll get you. You're right now, son. One leg over again. Well done. Well done! And my record's intact!
Bend your knees and push, Chief. Good job.
Since 1835, immigrants have been moving to Melbourne seeking opportunities and an improved life, a place to sprout new roots. What evolved was the Melbourne spirit.
Melbourne celebrates your ancestral lineage. It accepts you for who you are with unconditional love. That's probably why its people have such a deep sense of respect for each other and their city.
So what is it that connects the people of Melbourne? Creativity and ownership. It's visible in every aspect of Melbourneian society.
What started as a need to preserve their individual cultures has resulted in a culture that is uniquely their own.
Hipsters, musicians, suits, artists, jocks, naturalists, geeks, intellectuals, foodies, a united people despite their diverse subcultures.
It's a place where you don't get the slightest feeling that anyone is treated differently. That's the Melbourne way.